Roy, what's your favorite WrestleMania match?
WrestleMania 8. Yeah, WrestleMania 8, Hoosier Dome, Rowdy Piper versus Bret Hart.
Awesome, let's watch it. Yeah, still get the good feeling at the end.
Yeah, nice little happy ending.
And that was the only time Piper was ever pinned in the WWE?
Was it really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
The only time he ever let anybody pin his shoulders to the canvas or submit it. You know, in his book, he talks about how he'll lose to anybody, but he just doesn't think, he thinks he's earned the right not to let anybody pin his shoulders or to give up to anybody. I'm like, so you can get disqualified a whole bunch? Like, that doesn't, like I bet you thought that sounded really judicious, but that sounds like bullshit to me. Just say you don't want to let anybody beat you.
Look at Jim Duggan. He was the master of the DQ, man. Unless you were Yokozuna, you weren't pinning him to the mat, apparently.
What do you love so much about that match, Roy?
I love that it doesn't matter if you've been a fan your entire life or you just started watching for the first time, this being your first match. You understood it. It told a story that was easy enough for anyone to understand. Piper tried to show off his wrestling ability, and instead of being the smart fighter, he tried to beat Bret at his strength, and ultimately it backfired. You understand every bit of it.
This is so good. So good. You can't help but get caught up in that storyline. In this, just the story of the match.
Well, it's just the fact. It's the fact of the matter. At this point in time, Bret is trying to discover his identity, and Piper, full well knowing who he is trying to undermine him. This is Bret's way of finally coming out into the world and letting everyone know that he's not just a great tag wrestler. He's a great singles competitor, a great champion, maybe even a great world champion.
Spoilers.
Bro, I haven't watched that far yet.
Bro, what the hell?
I didn't say it was guaranteed.
You ever seen this match before?
This one, no.
You've never
seen this match?
Austin? Nope. Either of you?
No, I haven't seen it either.
You never?
I'm actually currently.
Fucking children.
I apologize. I'm going back right now and watching WrestleManias.
Yeah, well, that's good.
So I'm like.
What do you? Oh, okay. Scoot over. Alright. How do you guys never watch that match before?
Because I am bad with going back and watching matches that I probably should watch.
What's your excuse?
I work a lot.
That's the worst.
That's the worst excuse.
Well, what'd you think?
Yeah, it was a good match. You could definitely tell there was a story behind it. For sure.
What'd you see? What'd you see, Austin? What'd you think?
So I thought.
Austin's.
So with the promo in the beginning, them talking about their childhood and stuff, how he watched Bret grow up, and fucking watched. What do you say? His mom change his diapers?
Yeah.
Showing that respect, and Bret being like, "Nah, motherfucker, I'm coming for that belt." And then, because Bret has a point to prove, and Roddy knows he's the shit. And so whenever those two clashed, and it's like what Roy said, he was trying to show off his wrestling ability, but that's Bret's strength. And so when he finally got out wrestled, and fucking Bret rolled him up for that small package, when he was distracting and shit, he got him with his own medicine, and he got frustrated by that, and that was the first boiling point. Was that when he slapped him? Yeah. He slapped him, and then that started that frustration, and then they built on that until they got to the fucking them just beating the fuck out of each other, and then Bret's busted open, and now we get to the bell spot where Roddy has no other choice but to fucking bring back his old ways. Fucking, he's gonna hit him with the bell. It's gonna be it. And then that was his slip up. He slipped on the banana peel when he fucking threw the bell and was like, "Fucking, I'm just gonna wrestle him like I planned on it." And then Bret capitalized on that.
Well, except that he didn't.
What do you mean? The fucking rollback into the pin that wasn't capitalizing on it.
Well, I mean, he got the sleeper on him first. That was the
That's
counter to
true.
the sleeper.
Yeah, that's true.
You know that whole that was the morality play. See, you missed it because that was the morality play of that.
Yeah.
Piper was gonna hit him.
Yeah, that because he knew him from his childhood.
Couldn't do it, but he was gonna do it. But he wanted to win the right way.
Yeah.
So he got rid of it. But then he got the sleeper. Sleeper was always Piper's finish.
Yeah.
And that was when he like when he hooked his finish, Brett had the counter to the finish.
Yeah.
He didn't. I don't think he slipped on the banana peel. You know, like Piper wouldn't have won. I think the reason they did it that way is so that we knew Piper wouldn't have won
if he had.
Anyway.
Yeah.
You know, even unless he had waffled him with because Brett had the counter to the sleeper.
That's
So
good.
unless he had hit him
That's
with the
good.
bell, the only way he was going to beat Bret Hart that night was by cheating with the bell.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If you think about it, if he didn't patronize Brett, it would have been way different.
He got Brett heated, so Brett came in there like, I'm gonna fuck this guy up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I always use that match. That's a match that I use most often with trainees when I'm training people. When I talk about storytelling, I show that match because it's so easy to see. The other thing is like it's the nice thing about that storyline. The important thing about that story is that it's not a wrestling story. It's a person. It's an emotional story.
Very emotional.
You know, like so many guys when they talk about telling the story, they're just like, oh, I worked on the leg. Oh, you know, I really wore out that leg, and then he tapped out because I put that leg hold on. And like, no, you know, like some stories, like the wrestling stories, the best ones are emotional. And you know, if you can get that feeling, of, you know, both guys, because it wasn't just moves, and it wasn't one guy wearing the other guy down. Like it was the frustration.
Yeah.
And Brett tried to take a cheap shot, and Roddy Piper got mad.
It was personal.
It was personal. And it would have developed personally, like if you take out that promo and the we grew up together, like even if you take that out, like that match still plays like you know, two competitors getting frustrated with each other,
Especially with the body language.
Yes.
Like even when they were walking out, like just fucking the look of determination on Brett's face going out there to just fucking get that title back and fucking like prove to Roddy that he can out wrestle him.
Absolutely. Love
It's
it so
almost
much.
like storytelling is one of the most important parts of wrestling.
Almost.
I think I would agree with that.
Oh, we know you agree with that, Austin.
Danielle, one more time for the cheap seats. One more time for the cheap seats. I said that right the first time.
What? Oh. Sorry.